Creating Positive Communication Climates, as presented by Jack Gibbs. The first step, I guess, or the first point, was evaluation versus description. As I pointed out in class, I noticed that teachers do this a lot, and it was a joke that Chanel and I had a few weeks back when her and I were walking around in the mall, and we were listening to Lindsay talk, and another member of our EUS was kind of rambling and not making a whole lot of sense. And Lindsay kind of ended and brought the conversation to a close, and it made me laugh because she started off the sentence by, "I feel as though you're starting to repeat yourself a little." And I can't remember exactly how she worded the rest of it, but she got him to kind of stop talking because the conversation really was going in circles. And I definitely agree that description is the better of the two for that point, as opposed to evaluation, like stop talking, because I obviously would choose that one. It's a lot more direct. The second point was control versus problem orientation. This works very well, and I have talked about this with my aunt who's in BC. She is a mediator, and she said that's a big thing that they work on as mediators, is trying to get the participants in the dispute to perhaps not look at each other as enemies, because often what she deals with are farmers versus the government or versus whomever, and both feel wronged or slighted in some way, particularly when a farmer sells a bit to an acreage and the acreage or something falls through. The farmer feels slighted because obviously they wanted to get rid of that land, and now that land is not viable for farming because they've already done work on it for the acreage. And the acreage feels slighted because there was obviously something wrong with the land and they didn't survey it properly. So one thing that she said she has to do is to get them to not be butting heads with each other, but to look at the problem as a whole, and to not be looking at the problem as each character as a problem, but rather as the whole piece. Strategy versus spontaneity. I have learned this in every disagreement that I've had with my absolutely beautiful, wonderful mother growing up. Every time I tried to have some sort of a plan that I thought was absolutely foolproof for coming in, or vice versa, when she thought she had a plan that was foolproof and she could get me to do something, it almost always fell through because either one of us felt attacked and felt as though the thing that we were trying to convey, although it may have been slightly innocent, we felt forced into it, and we felt neglected, I guess, and like there was some sort of underlying plan, which obviously there was. So in spontaneity with a conversation, even with problems, always dealing with it in the moment is a lot better, because you can come up with better ideas and not feel quite so attacked. Neutrality versus empathy. I am a huge advocate for practicing empathy versus neutrality and just shutting off and letting them say what they say, rather than trying to understand them, trying to feel where they're coming from, and show them that you feel where they're coming from and that you understand them, that they are feeling heard. And it's that sense of validation. Everyone enjoys feeling validated. Everyone loves to feel like they are heard and like they are an important piece in a conversation. Superiority versus equality. This is one that I feel that everyone struggles with in some way or another, whether it be a captain of a football team feeling like he's better than the left running back, or perhaps someone who knows more in a subject than someone else, and perhaps the person who knows less is going on about something that might not be exactly correct, and the other person knows that it's incorrect, rather than straight up saying, "No, you're wrong, this is how it is," and the other person feels slighted, to go about it in a way that doesn't hurt them, saying, and saying something along the lines of, well, maybe you could be right, but the way that I was told, or something like that, to not be so direct and to feel like they have more to them and that they're better. And then also feeling like you have a monopoly on truth. That one was a big one for me as well. I had a grade 6 teacher who was probably the reason I did so poorly in math, because I didn't understand the way something was going, and I came up with an idea for how I thought the problem would be solved, and he went, no, I am the math teacher, and I know what I'm doing, so this is how it goes. And I instantly shut him out because he felt like he was superior to me. He felt like he knew all of the information because he was the math teacher, when in fact I may have been slightly wrong in the way I went about it, but I still got the right answer. And that was something that really resonated with me as to that. As for, there was a question that you did ask in class, and the question was, can you think of a situation that felt uncomfortable and negative that you changed into a more positive and embracing one, and how we might have done that? I noticed a situation when I was in my field experience school the other day. A little boy had come up to me, and he said that one of the girls was picking on him and was being very negative to him because of one reason or another. And then the girl came up and was talking to me as well, and she said that he was saying things to her and that they both felt slighted. And I took them out of the situation. I took them together because I wanted them to take a look at the situation as a whole, and I listened to both sides of their story, and then I explained what I thought might have happened, and I asked them, I said, could maybe have you had said something and he got upset, so he said something back, and it might not have been anything that she had said that was negative, but he took it negatively and vice versa, and the situation escalated from there, and they both agreed that that was what had happened, and they both apologized to each other, and actually by the end of our little lunch hour, they were both playing together again, and it made me feel a lot better. And it was a little bit of mediation, so control versus problem orientation, again referring to Jack Gibbs's list. On that note, that sums up my talk about creating positive communication climates. I hope that you have a good weekend and that you enjoyed this. Thank you very much.